All right. Here we are, everybody. It's a cardboard chat. Hello, I'm Peter Vaughn. This is Cardboard Alchemy's stream on YouTube Fridays or whenever you catch this. We're just here to chat about board games, what you're playing, behind the scenes on Critter Kitchen or Flamecraft, Andromeda's Edge, any one of our games. Uh-oh. Sorry. One moment. We will fix the audio. One moment. Let's see. Let's check this out. All right, let's test this. All right, we'll go back. I'm getting a delay. Hmm. I may have to might have to end the stream and restart. Let's just see what happens. Can everyone hear me? Is it coming in duplicate? It is synced. There's no delay. Okay, great. So I think I'm hearing double, but if nobody else is hearing double, then we're gonna go for it. Okay, so yeah, forgive me because I have duplicate audio over here. So if everybody else is good, we're just gonna go. Show me the pause. That's what happens when you get no sleep. Fair. Uh, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me on our Cardboard Alchemy backstage chat. I'm without Rosie today, so in addition to the tech issues that I just encountered, I also have no super comment support. So I will be handling all the comments, but no worries. Let me see if I can change my. Let's see if that works. All right. So today I wanted to talk about Deluxification is one of the topics today. Certainly, all of the products that Cardboard Alchemy has made have always had game trays in them, including the very first campaign that we ever ran, which was specifically just to showcase art and components such as game trays. We actually ran a Kickstarter called Essential Elements. If you were around during Essential Elements, please let me know in the comments. That was our very first Kickstarter at Cardboard Alchemy. Hey, Anna, nice to see you. Good to see everybody in the chat. We will be having some questions and answers if you have any questions for me, but I do want to show some fun pictures as well because we like to do a little behind the scenes here. But yes, I'm talking about game trays today specifically because it's just a feature I want to talk about. Oh, Mike, he's an Elements backer, of course. Thank you, Mike Vanderveen, for being there from the beginning. In 2020, we launched a campaign called Essential Elements, and it had featured 3 pieces of art from Sergio Chavez, one of which is behind me. That beautiful golem in a future game was one of our first images of art made for the company. And we also launched with game trays. We launched with something basically a lot like this. This was a this has giant meat in it. So ignore that for a second. But these are functional. These are useful to carry almost any game component when you're playing a game at the table. A lot of games don't come with really good trays. And game trays have been trying to solve that. This is an X tray since let's say like I want to say it's been around 10 years. I'm not quite sure on that. But Noah Edelman over at that company was looking at the game solutions that are out there and thinking, instead of all the components just being thrown in a box with no cardboard inside, no protection, pieces everywhere, a couple companies came out of the woodwork to try and solve that. Game Trace was one of them. And the whole reason behind X trays in particular is it's a generic, useful for all, any X game, X number of games, right? So we got on board and we made this custom color. It was a red color at the time, and we we put it in all of our games. Mission Catastrophe had, do I have a copy nearby? I'll try to show the Mission Catastrophe tray. It's too good. It's so good. One second. It is a little farther away than I would have liked. One moment, because it's all over. Let me show this tray without it falling off. I want to show the tray without absolute destruction in the office. But we've got a couple of cubes loose because I did dump all the pieces out the other day. So that is what happens once in a while. So I'm gonna pop the lid on because it's much more secure that way. Well, it's not quite on at the moment, but like this tray, this is our Mission Catastrophe tray. It does. I was just playing around with it, but it's the goal of game trays. Their slogan is "Control your chaos," and that's what they do. They make it so that not only are the components well kept, but they're also intuitively better for play, better for pulling out and storing. So I don't know if anyone's got the game trays. I happen to own a lot of really good ones. Parks is a really good one. I like the one in Distilled too. Actually, it's got everything in the right place. So when I'm pulling that game out, I got everything that I need. We've used game trays for Mission Catastrophe, for Flamecraft, and we're going to do it for Andromeda's Edge. We're still in production now. And my next update on Andromeda's Edge, I'm going to show you what all of those tray systems look like in Andromeda's Edge. Because like Dwellings of Eldervale, which is a very, very big game, Andromeda's Edge is giant as well. It's important that those games have an ease of play in bringing out a player color, bringing out your pieces and just going. That is what's really good about game trays. The reason why I want to highlight that is that because you look at a game like Critter Kitchen, this is included in the deluxe pledge out of the gate. It cannot be understated how good this is. This is like buying a $60 to $80 storage system, but instead of going out and having to buy it, it comes inside your game already. It's unbelievable. And I believe in it so much. We wanted to show some of the fun things that get made as Game Tray starts to think about your game. So I'm going to use Critter Kitchen as an example. And so I'm going to show, let's see. So this is our cardboard chat, and I have a picture of our soup pot right here. And the soup pot is kind of funny because we went to Game Trays. Chris and I were pitching this to Noah, and we said we want all of the soups to be contained, not just loose on the table, and not. We could have done an extra tray, but we were like, well, we want to get into the theme of this game. And Noah immediately attacked this with a soup pot, which has a lid. It's not pictured in here, but all of this would keep the soup organized. And it slopes. This is minor, but important. It's sloped in a way that it should be easy to get out. It's not. He puts things like on card display, something that causes push and tilt, where you can push one end of the card and the other end comes up. And in a case like if it's a well that your fingers got to get in, he's making sure that there's slope. Subtle perfection as you go. But the other thing that I want to show is while we were making this, we had some fun here, and we were trying to envision what the player area would be like. The pantry in Critter Kitchen is such a fun area. And so, let's turn this off for a second. So we came up with this area that's hidden. So you've got the screen that that is going to be a custom restaurant player, And then you've got this system where you can see these two parts here that create the pantry. Now, you don't need to keep everything completely hidden, which is why the plates are fine as public enough area, but you've got enough protected area that you can keep whatever you're going to serve the critic, which is much more important to keep secret. And you've got that set. You can see how these are two trays built together. That's for super box efficiency and so that you can pack it all up. And I'm going to show you how to pack this all up as well. So if you look at this, this is how it all goes back together. You have all of your pieces stored in the base. The plate becomes the top of the base. And so you can see that that, that is what that back piece is. So in other words, it's efficiently creating a play area and a storage solution all in one. So the lid and the base become a two-piece thing that becomes your pantry. And it's not entirely clear from just this image, but it actually accommodates a lot of different play styles. For example, I don't usually play with my plates there, but they're flushed with the lid, so that you can play on that surfaces if you don't have the plates there. If you don't really care about the plates, but if you do care about the plates, the challenge you can actually start to decide what you want to serve in the challenges. So I'm going to turn it off for a second, and so there we go. So Game Trays is a great partner. I just want to do a huge shout out to them. But I'm also just talking about deluxe components, and that could be a topic of any of our questions today, because I think you may have noticed if you've backed the Cardboard Alchemy project that we don't do minis in gray. We don't believe in, oh, here's a boring mini that I'm gonna have to paint. We want you to be able to go immediately. I don't paint minis. I would love to have time to paint some minis, but you should have colorful, fun minis out of the gate. You should have Meeples with silkscreen automatically. You should have great storage solutions. You should be able to get the game on the table as fast as possible and have people walk by and go, "What is that? I want to join you." That is the entire reason why we're making these deluxe editions, because presentation and ease and accessibility are all huge tenets of how we share this hobby, how we make other people feel welcome, how it makes games intuitive and interesting. So, it's not just a game trace topic, as I said. It's about everything. I'm going to show you another one. We made something as deluxe components are my bag, baby. That's an Austin Powers reference for anyone who doesn't know. This is the last minute thing we put into the deluxe edition of Coda Kitchen, and it is a bag that kind of stands up, and it's got a leathery feel to it. It's going to be a really nice addition of an ingredients bag, because the ingredients bag in Coda Kitchen holds 119 or more ingredients, items, and you want something really satisfying to get those ingredients out of. And of course, if you back the deluxe, this is not pictured in this image, you're getting all wood ingredients that when you're rifling around in this bag, it's a really satisfying grab. You know, these really nice silkscreen heat wood tokens for all the ingredients. So they don't come cheap, actually. I know there's some people on the campaign that are saying, "Oh, what, can we get everything in wood?" And we definitely wish we could, because wood is very expensive. It doesn't come cheap at all. Flamecraft actually had very little wood, because it had I should say the deluxe had 216 pieces of wood, and that's not cheap either. But in the standard, the way that we got it affordable was we got only wood for the hearts of the dragons, and it's the right area to put that wood touch on. But then so that's impressive that standard gets a little taste of that wood as well. But then for deluxe, it's getting game tray is holding 260 pieces of wood, and it's getting the miniatures. We try to put the Deluxification in every version of the games. For example, Flamecraft got a mat that was neoprene in every version, and in Critter Kitchen we're doing silkscreen player pieces in everybody's copy as well. So anyway, this was just I wanted to highlight the Deluxification because when you look at a Kickstarter page, some Kickstarters are going to have all of the same great gameplay or really fun. They don't put this level into it. We are putting at our own cost so much quality attention to detail in the components. It's built in. It's not even a stretch goal. We never make the linen cards a stretch goal. We don't make the silk screening a stretch goal. There are some components where we do have to make it a stretch goal because we realize, okay, we've crammed as much as we possibly can. We can't get the thing we want, like for example, the Wooden Moons and Andromeda's Edge at the bonus, because there's just so much in that game. Um, but yeah, it actually, Stephanie's saying, I can't believe the price point for Deluxe. It's really interesting because the Deluxe edition of the kitchen would be over $100. We definitely didn't want to charge over $100. We want to make sure everyone on Kickstarter can get it for as low as we possibly can offer it. And that's because this is our celebration. We're trying to fund a dream here. And we want all of this stuff in the box. We want everybody to have the best possible pieces in it. Um, and we want it to be an affordable thing that you can, say, I feel really good about getting this deluxe edition. But then after market versions, and this is true if you look at Dwellings, I got Dwellings on Kickstarter. I managed as a developer and the crowdfunding campaign manager for Dwellings. And we got the standard edition of Dwellings to 70 and the deluxe to 100 and the legendary was 129, 139. But the actual retail price of the legendary is $200. And and then on Kickstarter, everyone's like, "Oh, this is so expensive at 140." I'm like, "You don't even understand. We're like losing money on this." Uh, my apologies to Breaking Games. They were probably freaking out when I said, let's make it this cheap." Um, but it's really actually, when you think about it, components are not getting cheaper. Every year in China, um, the paper goods go up, the cost of wood goes up, the cost of plastic goes up, the cost of every part of the components goes up. It's amazing to me Game Trace is able to keep its value. Um, all of the manufacturing, the molds, the Game Trace requires aluminum molds to be created so that they don't degrade the quality and the thickness of the plastic, and that is um, impressive that Game Trace is not changing their price usually on getting that to game. So when you go into a store, and this is the sticker shock has happened to me, I walk into Barnes and Noble and I see that like Telestrations is $40 or $50, Wingspan's $60. I realize that games are a very niche gourmet thing. I mean, they are a they're a very they're something that's special. If you get a good one, it should last the test of time on your shelves. It should hold as long as possible. It should be something that you're sharing with a lot of people and that you want to keep in your collection. And that's something we're definitely thinking about when we make it. Mark Dandridge is like, did someone say Dwellings of Eldervale? Dwellings of Eldervale is on my mind all the time, Mark. I know it's on your mind all the time, which I always appreciate. I see you there in the Dwellings Facebook group keeping the dream alive, which I love. I love seeing that. Thank you so much for doing that. Dwellings is one of my favorite games ever, and it was one of the first games that I truly said on Kickstarter we're going to make. It's a standard edition and a deluxe edition and a legendary edition because it was. I wanted people to get the game they wanted, right? If you wanted just the gameplay, get the standard edition. If you wanted the big minis, we crammed as many as we could. We wanted the big minis and the resources, get the deluxe edition. But if you want like 2 times the amount of big minis, then you gotta go. And then you want sound bases, you gotta go legendary. But that wasn't for everybody. But we managed to get that on Kickstarter for only, like I said, super price. But now, um, the other thing about Kickstarter that's really fun, and I really appreciate this, is that Kickstarter makes it so the economies of scale work out. Because, for example, if you were to print Dwellings of Elderville now, and it's just a small run, you don't have the prices get even worse. But if you have a bunch of people at once, like 10,000 people, or in the case of Minecraft, 30,000 people, then it makes it possible to do even bigger and better things with the product. So one of the reasons why we as a company crowdfund is that you can't make this, and this is actually an excellent example. This game did not work out in retail. Mission Catastrophe no longer exists. This is a possibility with any one of our games. They might be a one-time situation. Why? Because you can't sustain this type of quality on retail shelves. Retail shelves do have some stores where they want a Kickstarter backer. They're like, oh yes, I will give you, I will pay deluxe prices. But most people who walk in a retail store are looking for a bargain, and that's, to be completely fair. That is the way I would sometimes go into a retail store. It's like I want to try a new game, but I don't want to pay $90 to find out if this is exactly my jam. So deluxe products are largely a product of Kickstarter, and that is the part of Kickstarter that I happen to live on. That's the part of Kickstarter I really like because I want my games to be like, dual layer cardboard and minis and coins. Oh my god, the Minecraft coins, right? I mean, I want this. I want this. So this is not possible without some support, without a big group of people saying, I want it also. But I want to get to some questions. I don't want to necessarily go on and on and on without talking to our fans here. A lot of you who are in this chat today appreciate Lux, and we appreciate you for it. And so let's talk about that. Celestial Source says, "Do you know when to stop deluxifying?" Yes, is Cardboard Alchemy gonna make a Flamecraft dragon at actual bread dragon size? Will there be a kitchen timer at Deluxe Critic Kitchen? I don't think a kitchen timer is gonna make it. Although I did think about it. I will tell you a funny one that I thought about because I got Deluxe on the brain all the time. When we were doing Flamecraft, and this will blow everyone's mind because when you think about what this could have been, just didn't work out. We were making a plush, a bread plush, because we heard that people wanted plush dragons. So we're making a blood plush, and the whole lore of Flamecraft is that the bread dragons bring in more dragons because of the smell of bread. And I thought, could we put scent in bread dragon, like fresh bread scent? That'd be amazing for that plush, right? And I kid you not, I spent like several to different manufacturers. I discussed what fresh bread smelled like, and I was going to try and get a bread scent put into the dragon. But the other thing about this whole process is sometimes Deluxe doesn't work out. Sometimes you try something and it doesn't work. For example, on Mission Catastrophe, our very first idea was that this would be a drawer that came out of the box. Until we found out that that was unstable and it would have broke everyone's box. And 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 when we talked about a scent dragon, I just didn't know if it'd be safe for people because the companies I was asking about it, they just were kind of shady. They didn't like give me a good assurance that this was a safe thing to do, and I didn't want to. We didn't want to go down that road. As far as making a giant one, I will tell you that the modeler for Flamecraft is Eric Tosco. Eric Tosco has been modeling our little dragons this entire time. It's a Series 2 model for the Crystal Dragon. Eric wants to make giant ones. Eric would love to make dragons that are at least paperweight or bigger. And you could probably, encourage him in the Facebook groups. Eric, come on, secretly make one. Um, so, you're gonna get what I can guarantee is that Carbon Alchemy will always try things. We're gonna try drawers. We might try sound bases. We might try translucent pieces. We might try we've done, I've done the sound bases, so it's going to continue to be this thing of like, how can we get for an affordable price the most epic versions of games, right? Um, Potentially some other ones. This is natural that this topic will cause lots of things, lots of ideas. We've got one that says, "Hey, potential sous chef plushies." One of the reasons why we didn't do plushies in the Critter Kitchen is because, well, two good reasons. One is we're still finishing making plushies for Flamecraft. We actually have 4 dragons that are existing as plushies. We got 2 more to do to get to all of our artisan dragons. And that's the first reason is that we are not a plushie company, but we apparently do have to get started on our Flamecraft plush. And then the second thing is the Critter Kitchen characters are all wearing clothes. And it's a difficult thing to get a plush right with, more buttons, cloth, hats. It's just more complicated. And again, we're not a plush company. We want to nail the game and nail anything we can do on top of the game, of course. But we will. I mean, if Critter Kitchen takes off and Critter Kitchen has a sequel or it has another campaign, we'd certainly look and see whether or not it needs to have some of these bonus layers. There was a question I don't want to forget, which is because this is about any one of our games, and I want to encourage everyone to ask any question. Any update on the shipping timeline for Andromeda's Edge? Well, I do want to say that is still unknown because we are still taking that game to print. Actually, we're not still taking that game to print, but it has taken an exponential amount of work. The more you put into a game, 18 factions, 3 rule books, an appendix. There's a lot of playtesting to get the final rules right. There's a lot of back and forth on the components. For example, the first time I saw the wooden components of the moons, it's unacceptable. And we've already been back and forth on that several times. And I also sent back the original titanium several times until we get to the version I just showed in an update. So our original projection for Andromeda's Edge is next summer. I think that's still possible, but I do think that already what I've seen on the minis back and forth and the game trays is still cooking on that. I think that we definitely have an update at the beginning of the year that says here's a revised timeline. I'm hopeful still that we can stay on our current timeline. But it's a big game. It is a huge game, and I guess a consequence of the Deluxification is that things take time to get right, and we don't put out games that aren't right. And not just for Deluxification, but also rules. I mean, Andromeda's Edge is a giant game. And there's factions and raiders that have complex interactions, including 3 event decks. And all of the solo cards have to interact with those event decks and also interact with raiders and tons of fact. So, but let's go back to the Critter Kitchen. We've got more questions about Critter Kitchen. Themed kitchen items are great. I like them a lot. Thank you for saying that. One of the designers of the game, Alex Cutler, was really excited about getting some merchandise. So he had seen what Card Production could do in Flamecraft, and he said, "Can we get oven mitts? Can we get recipes? Can we get?" And he did ask for plush. I did have to say, "I'm sorry, plush is out for this one." But we all thought about what would be fun for the kitchen, and I was really excited because Brad came up with the trivet. I forget who came up with the game tote, but we all sort of like pooled ideas. There were over 40 ideas, and we got them down to what we think are some of the best that we can get manufactured in the same time as the game. Because that's the other key thing is that on any given component, and this goes for all deluxe components as well, for any given component, the thing you're doing is you're quoting a price. For example, there are things that are not going to make it in Critter Kitchen. I'll give you an example of one. I don't think it'll bother anyone too much. I hate to say things that aren't in the box, but we did it. We did a stretch goal on Andromeda's Edge to turn everybody's player tray the color that they're playing. I think that was a really important thing for Andromeda's Edge because you're immersed in your color on the board and whatnot. In Critter Kitchen, that wasn't as important because you need a clean pantry surface. Imagine a giant bright orange pantry surface and then trying to focus your ingredients. But also, that's very costly to get game trays in a different color. So, like, for example, usually pick one, I think using this box, but usually pick one color and stick to it because if you change the the color of this piece from this piece, it's definitely more money. So to go back to merch, everything comes down to, can we get it at an affordable price? Can we get it on a timeline? For example, another thing we wanted to do was a cookbook on Critic Kitchen, but the timeline for that cookbook, you were going to get a chef involved. It would have been delaying the game production, and that just isn't going to fly. We need the game to come out in a year, and that's what we want. Plush also would have probably been a long timeline, and minis, by the way, are a huge timeline. One of the things that's actually helping Critic Kitchen, because some people have asked for minis, and I definitely love minis. Obviously, we've got minis in all of the other three of our games. But with this many characters to move on the board, it's so much better without minis. Here's a good question from Mike. Will there be a Cutter's Corner cutlery at a minimum for multiplayer pun for a certain designer? He's talking about Alex Cutler. Now, there is a Cutler pun still to be revealed on this campaign. Yes. We dedicated one of the locations to designer Peter C. Hayward, and that is our blue location. He's all about the blue. His name in some forums is Blue Peter, which is good because I'm not going by Blue Peter. He gets to be going by Blue Peter. But because of that, we named that restaurant the Blue Restaurant. We named it the Blue Beard. You can see that in Sandar's artwork, and we featured it in one of our updates. But you'll note when we get around to another one of the one of the restaurants, you can find an Alex Cutler reference. We took his favorite color, and you can kind of deduce what that might be because there's only a couple colors left. But we also named the restaurant for Alex. Here's a question. Deluxified question, also a slight criticism of Flamecraft. Sorry, that's fine. This is what we're open chatting here. But when you designed the FC box, what made you decide against a full transparent clip-on lid like you did in Mission Catastrophe? That is a very good question. That is because the mat affected that decision. The full clip-on lid requires space, and we ran out of space in the Flamecraft Deluxe. And this was a very difficult decision, but we had to decide whether or not to keep Flamecraft Deluxe in the same size box as Flamecraft Standard. And that decision, I still think about at night, because in doing so, we had to not cut corners, but we had to make a different tray than I think I would have wanted, because we also couldn't accommodate the shop's sleeve. And we struggled with that one because the shops are not handled as much as although the cards are not shuffled. They're not. So we said, okay, I think we can handle the shops not sleeved, and I think we can handle no lid, because what Game Trays assured me at the time was that they had done that type of lid before. The thing that keeps there is a lid over the cards and the coins and the minis, and that lid has a small. So it doesn't have a snap, but it has a small groove to stay in place. And the theory is that the rule book and the pressure of the cards is supposed to keep the dragons down and the hearts down and the coins down. And the rule book is on top of that and it's supposed to keep that down. But Game Trays is not infallible. We're not infallible. And clearly that didn't work the way we ultimately wanted. We did successfully, I think, do a lot of great things in the Flamecraft Deluxe box. We kept all of the hearts and the dragons in their own spot. We kept the dragon spot. We kept the dragons interchangeable. So you could put the dragons in whatever one you want. You kept an area for the pink dragon. It wasn't so obvious that you were missing it. If you never got the pink dragon, you didn't feel like, oh, it has a clearly lacking piece. Like we put it in a subtle spot. We got the mat in there, and the mat is what displays almost everything. I mean, the mat took up so much room. So I think if we redo Flamecraft, and it's possible that there could be a new version of Flamecraft coming, when we start to do a Flameback Kickstarter, we might revisit a Flamecraft Deluxe. And if we do that, I think we're going to re-envision the Deluxe tray. It's a really good question. I think that each one of the games is a learning curve. Andromeda's Edge, for example, don't want anything loose, so we're really spending. We actually didn't budget for lids on the command carrier in Andromeda's Edge, but after seeing some of the things in Flamecraft, we went back. Noah is putting a lid on the command carrier. Something I'm going to feature in an Andromeda's Edge update is how we're attacking those trays to make sure that nothing flies anywhere. And in Critter Kitchen, we're doing the same thing. We're learning that lesson. All of the zoo chefs are going to have a lid, and all the cart tokens are going to have a lid. So, you got more questions? Um, is Mandy Panda a reference to Amanda Panda, the board game content creator? And actually, it is not, but I will tell you that we played a game of this with Amanda Panda, and she loves the panda, of course, and she's rooting for it, and she tweeted out about it. And so it's a love letter, of course, to all panda fans, and Amanda Panda is one of our favorite friends. Will the CK box be able to handle the add-ons that are coming? Will there be a different size for different editions of the game? Now, that's a very good question. I said just a minute ago that we tried to keep the Flamecraft box the exact same size. That is a feat that I can't even believe we did. The Deluxe and the standard Flamecraft come in the exact same size depth, but Critter Kitchen is not going to be the same. Critter Kitchen, the standard edition is like Flamecraft. It's about 70 millimeters deep, but the Deluxe version of Critter Kitchen is deeper because it's got those player trays. It's got trays to hold every one of the Meeples. We're already at 22 wooden Meeples unlocked, and they all have their own home in there. And we're already at, I'm going to say carts is at, are we at 10 carts yet? 10 carts also have 7 tokens per cart, and the soup has to go somewhere, and the player boards have to go somewhere, and the locations have to go somewhere, and the bag has to go somewhere. And so the Deluxe version of Critter Kitchen is going to be a lot of stuff in there. As far as it fitting all the add-ons, it does not fit things like the privet or the cookie cutters or the recipe cards. All of that is considered non-game elements and will have to be stored separately, hopefully in your kitchen for a lot of it. Here's a question. Will the on-break card have its own location? Oh, that's cute. A small coffee shop or a pub. Actually, no, the on-break card is a game card that you only need if you're playing 6 and 7 players. How it works is that specifically when you play that card, you are not sending that chef out. So if I have 3 chefs, I'm going to choose. I have my lizard, so the Deluxe components of Critter Kitchen, by the way. I got my lizard, and I got my little mouse chef, and I've got my boar. And when I'm playing a 6 and 7, I only get to send out two of these. So I might send out the boar and the mouse, and the lizard goes on break. So actually, that card indicates that you don't send the lizard anywhere. But it's a cute idea to have a coffee shop. Matthew Gonzalez says the Flamebound teaser has to be very hyped. Yes, I agree. Flamebound is exciting. People who have heard us talk about this is the standalone sequel to Flamecraft. I'm pumped about it as well. Manny's working on it. Speaking of Andromeda's Edge, I'm terrified of the sheer scale of the Deluxe box. Am I going to run out of shelf space? Well, I mean, I will say it fits in a calyx. I don't know if you have a calyx at home, but it does fit in a calyx. In fact, we've improved on Dwellings of Eldervale, which does also fit in a calyx, but sticks out of a calyx. Andromeda's Edge, 100% Game Trays learned this. It fits completely in a calyx. Now, if you don't have a calyx, you know what I'm talking about. It's a very common game shelf in board gaming, but it also fits on top of any shelf and displays prominently in your collection. That is what Andromeda's Edge is meant to do. Mike says, thank you for having the card storage in Flamecraft be vertical. The shop cards are horizontal and do slip around. If the smaller cards did that, I would be sad. We definitely, I think, while Flamecraft had its things that we've tried to solve in the Deluxe tray, I was really proud of the fact that it holds enough cards. Cards are in one spot, and the sleeve cards can be right there as well. That's something that we've managed to do on all poker cards. All mini cards are in room for sleeves. I do that on every single game to make sure that people who do like to stick their cards, people who don't like to stick their cards are covered either way. Here's one. Seeing how CK and FC have the same artist, will there be any crossover? Now, we definitely thought about that as well. One of the reasons why we love having the Dragons visit, we did think about it, but we have Flamebound coming up, and there are critters in Flamebound, and we just didn't want to confuse anyone. There's already a lot of confusion. That Critter is a sequel to Flamecraft. I hear people say that every day, like, "Oh, look at this! It's a sequel to Flamecraft," but it's not a sequel to Flamecraft. And so, because of that, I think Sandara and Cardboard Alchemy are trying to make sure we're not confusing anyone. Not that you're going to probably like Critter Kitchen if you like Flamecraft. It's a different game though. It's a different universe. And so I think for now we're keeping the dragons out of the universe. But you never know. There might be a dragon that celebrity chef someday. The tote bag add-on. What are the proposed dimensions? If the art design is destined to change, would backers be promote? Well, let me say this. If we did decide to change the art, we definitely would offer it as a vote. We did that on Andromeda's Edge, where we said, who wants to vote on the art that goes in the dice trays? And anytime we can involve backers in a vote, we will absolutely do so. We right now the bag is proposed to have the expansion graphic cover on one side and the grocery top shop on the other side. This is meant to be a bag used for both grocery shopping and getting your games to game night. And the proposed dimensions of this bag are 14 by 14 by 10, I believe, so that it can hold two comfortably. It can hold two games like you can take, I don't know, Flamecraft and Critter Kitchen to game night, or you could take Andromeda's Edge to game night. I don't know if you can get another one in there, but maybe we'll have to make an Andromeda's Edge tote one day. But anyway, if we do change anything with that, we will definitely tell everybody. Will there be What the Food Cafe Chaos promos with Critter Kitchen? Oh my god, what a beautiful question, and thank you for bringing up my very first published game, What the Food, a cafeteria food fight to the death. If you have not seen this, we talk about this one. I made a game that was a food fight. Um, it was silly and chaotic. It played 10 players, by the way, with no slowdown because you just program your three actions. You say, okay, I'm going to duck, I'm going to throw, and then I'm going to grab. Or I'm going to grab, and then I'm going to catch. You can actually get new actions as we played. It was a lot of fun. It's a totally different universe, and What the Food is owned by a different company. It's actually owned by Breaking Games now because I gave it to them to make Captain Chaos, so I do not have any rights to use the What the Food characters in any way in Critter Kitchen. But it's a very nice question. I think I'd be honored, obviously, if they ever mix together. I love seeing the Flamecraft cameo in Andromeda's Edge with the Star Trek ship. That was fun, right? I think for that one, we felt like Flamecraft kind of it's been so fresh, and we really wanted to dedicate a faction to both Mission Catastrophe and Flamecraft. I think someday we're gonna have to do a Critter Kitchen faction somehow in Andromeda because Andromeda encapsulates every universe, is what it is. It's the galaxy that it has references to Star Trek and Firefly, and apparently the Flamecraft universe. It all comes together. You can play anything in Andromeda's Edge. But not every game works like that. For example, when we're making Whisperwood, I don't expect Critter Kitchen or Flamecraft or Andromeda's Edge to come into Whisperwood either. So we will do it when we can, when it's appropriate. Oh, look at that. Social Source said he won What the Food at PotionCon. That's so great. I can't wait to see what you think of it. What the Food is my answer to, I want to tell everybody, so this is the history of What the Food. I was playing a lot of Bang. Has anyone played Bang? It's a card game, plays up to 8, actually. And Bang is a Western. Someone's sheriff, someone's a deputy. There are 3 outlaws. Sometimes there can be more. There's a renegade, and everyone's got a secret role. So except for the sheriff, everyone knows who the sheriff is. But sheriff doesn't even know they're deputies, and it's a party game, and you sit around and you can get horses and guns and drink beer and have it's a really fun Western in a circle. And I love that game. I also really liked at the time Munchkin, and I remember thinking that I wanted a game. Bang, you can get eliminated really quickly and sit around and wait for everyone else to finish the shootout. And I wanted a game where you couldn't get eliminated, but you still had that fast, quick play. So what the food was my answer. You put your 3 cards down regardless of what everyone else is doing. Everyone flips over the first one, and you resolve it. Everyone flips over the second one, and you resolve it. Everyone flips over the third one, and you resolve it. And you could draft for new foods or new actions, or you could get combos. And if you hit someone with food, you give them points, and you don't want points. You actually want a golf score in what the food. You do not want points. It's very rare that you can heal, and the first person who gets to 10, the game ends, and it's the least amount of points that wins. So there's no, it goes very fast, and there's no, it's just fun and silly to the end. And usually the player control is that if I'm messy and I look like I'm about to trigger the end, people generally leave me alone because I'm already dead. So they go for the ones that are the least messy. So no one gets targeted too long either. It's a lot of fun. I should be hosting game nights of that. I miss it. CK, there's already an idea that the Gourmandi, searching for stars for all the new flavors. To boldly taste what no one has tasted before. I'll have to tell Luke about the, I've just pitched, Luke and Maximus have just pitched something that needs to be pitched. Well, we're doing pretty good. I appreciate all the questions as we talk about our games here. This is what I love about these streams, which is we're not making trays, even though I've been showing trays in the vacuum. We're not making trays in a vacuum. We're making games for everybody. So I really appreciate all the questions because it helps us all understand what is possible, what is not possible, and we continue to improve our games as we go, make better and better games for the table. I suppose I should talk about a couple things happening this weekend and also on the campaign. Let's talk about the campaign for a second. The campaign is currently at, let's see what the campaign is at. It is $533,000 raised. Thank you all for helping us get Critter Kitchen to be the best restaurant week it could ever be. We've got 6,726 backers. That is the part I'm personally even more excited about, which is just getting more people into gaming. On Flamecraft alone, we had over 3,000 people that have never backed a game before. They were discovering a game for the very first time, and we're pretty proud about that. And I think Critter Kitchen has got some new backers as well. But we've got a lot to do. We've got 13 days, and we have tons still to put in this game. Tons. We need your help because we need to tell every single person. There's people who missed Flamecraft and are in our Flamecraft group going, I am so sad. I missed the art book. I missed the game. I missed the pink dragon. I missed the alternate shops. I missed all the stuff, which kills me every time because, we held the door open for a year. It's the best we could do. We actually still, if someone, comes in and says, I forgot to fill out my pledge manager, we still get them a Flamecraft because we are not one of those companies that says, oh, you're too late. You missed your chance. So with Critter Kitchen, I really don't want people to miss this game. This game has so many things crammed in there. There's unbelievable amounts of gameplay. Something that we did in Andromeda's Edge, which I think our team laughs about. Our team says, we could have just cut half the content of Andromeda's Edge and saved it for an expansion, right? And I was like, I totally understand that we could do that. I totally understand that we could be the company that goes, here is half of, because, but we have 18 factions. You could play Andromeda's Edge. You could do a retreat of just Andromeda's Edge and never see the same game twice. And in Critter Kitchen already, I think you saw this, but if you saw the two-player game, the two-player game of Critter Kitchen showed you that it's just a different game if you have the monkey in, or the carts in, or the restaurateurs in, or this critic in, or that critic in, or these sous chefs in, or these rumors in. It is amazing. Let's see. Daniel Roberts says, was the cow revealed early? I don't believe so. What I do on the stretch goal map, let's go look at the stretch goal map, is the one that we're working on. So the stretch goal that we're working on is on a blue diamond and is locked. So you can see that the cow is at 550,000 and is locked. until we get to 550,000. But you get to look at the cow, and Sandara had a neat little touch. I don't know if I've ever explained this, but Sandara had this little touch where when it's the current active one, there is a plate of food, as if the critic or Zushep or whatever is sitting down to enjoy that particular meal. And as soon as it moves past that critter, there's bones, and there's eaten pieces of bread, and there's lemon peel, and there's crumbs. So basically what happens is there's clean plates, and then when you get to the featured one, they're sitting down at that moment. That's what we're trying to unlock. And then as soon as it moves past it, it's a mess on the table. So I don't know if anyone caught that, but we're just doing silly stuff like that every time we do these Kickstarters. But the cow is up next, and so you can see the cow is a very regal critic and very official. I can tell you the cow is one of my absolute favorite characters in the entire game. Why is that? Well, as in all the rules with Critter Kitchen, there is a thematic tie to the mechanical power. So this particular one, the cow has 4 stomachs, okay? So one of the courses, you can serve 4 things, not one thing. I think that's so neat. But here's why I like it even more. Because while you're playing, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to make a carrot stomach because I got this really juicy 7 carrots. And then I can get that 5 carrots, and now I'm already on my way to a really big carrot stomach. But then the challenges come out, and there's 2 carrots, and you're like, oh, do I spend my 5? Do I spend my 7 and hope I can get these carrots back? Or you look at a rumor, and it goes, the cow is a mushroom fanatic. And you're like, oh, my God, I got to switch to a mushroom stomach. And you can pivot with the cow. It's one of the reasons why I really like it. You can completely change up what you want to do. So I hope we unlock the cow, and I believe we will. In fact, one of the secrets of Kickstarter that I have to tell you, spoiler alert, Kickstarter has a very slow period in the middle, and then at the end, it's a flurry of all the folks that want to come in. So I do believe we're going to get quite a few more goals. We're planning for quite a few more goals. I know you have a lot of social goals to achieve. What's going to make it even more attractive for the people coming in at the end and helping us push to get all of the goals that we want to get in this game is if we get those social goals mostly done or get them all done, we will put so much cool stuff in this game that everyone who's on the fence at the final hour or coming in at the last minute and sees all this stuff will say, I can't possibly pass up Critter Kitchen, which will in turn unlock more things. You see how awesome this is? This is what we're going to do at the end. So what we need you to do now, if you're listening to this and you're willing to help us out, is share the campaign. One of the ways we've done as a really fun way to do this is with social goals. We've given you the ammo to share a character like a mouse drawn in or a coffee and say, I got my game fix in today, I'm back to Critter Kitchen, or to share the trailer. We need to unlock another goal by sharing the trailer. You can share the trailer and say, I'm back in this. What is everyone else backing? Or did you know that Critter Kitchen already has like 30, 40 critters unlocked? So what we need is we need the internet to find out about Critter Kitchen. We cannot do this alone. We definitely need your help to spread the word. Because if you appreciate deluxe games, if you appreciate games that cram so much content in the box, it's almost 3 games worth of content, then you need to make sure that this one funds to the total best it can. Oh my God, the questions are getting harder. Who's your favorite Critter Kitchen designer? Asked, by the way, by one of the Critter Kitchen designers. One of my 2 favorite Critter Kitchen designers. I cannot answer that question. What? No, there's some bold predictions having. Oh, Cozy Board Game says, I have a mushroom stomach. That is gross. I'm sorry. Mushrooms, I can't even believe we allowed them in this game. There's a separate stomach for cake and ice cream. Now that I can get on board with 100%. Actually, I know Mike Vandermee's in the chat. He can't do the milk products, and I feel bad for him. I also am sorry to be unable to do the milk products for whatever reason. Daniel says the 48-hour left notifications go out. It causes a lot of backers to jump in. That is true. We didn't find that as much at Game Found, so I'm hoping that as we've come back to Kickstarter that we do get that to happen. But we have so much work to do before we get to that 48-hour mark. I want to unlock these amazing components in the social goals. There is chances to get, I know I showed a bag of coins. If you think we're going to let Critter Kitchen go and not have this stuff, oh no. Oh, we're doing it. we are going to have a cart that brings in coins, everybody. But we need to get it. So I'm going to put a treasure hunt. Look for it by Sunday. I'm going to put a treasure hunt in the Discord so that everybody can help us unlock gold coins. These, by the way, this is not cheap either. This is something else to put this in this game, and I really want it to happen because I like the idea that the carts provide lots of random, silly things. We're currently almost at unlocking a custom die in the game. This is really fun as well. So if we can get these things, that's funny, chocolate coins. You know what's funny about that, Mike, chocolate coins, is that if I could have done, I mean, these are 3mm thick, and they sometimes feel, this is a Flamecraft coin, right? This is one of the new ones. These sometimes feel like they could have been chocolate, you know what I mean? But as Brad and I have pointed out, we are not a plush manufacturer. We barely can make product. I mean, we're focused highly on games, okay? So we're not getting into food at this juncture. I'll put it that way. We definitely don't want to want everybody to just safely, we already had to do all these safety test things on the plush to make sure that, no one's going to, that the fiber inside is safe and everything like that. We have not gotten into food yet. Oh, it's funny that Peter's like, one of his favorite carts is the coin cart. So when we unlock it, we'll talk all about that and what it does. It's a very fascinating mechanism, and we definitely want to get that. Oh, here's a good question from Peter. What is your favorite cart mechanically? What is your favorite thematically? And I need to talk about the carts that are already out there because it's unfair to talk about, say, the coin cart, which doesn't exist, or any of that. So let's talk about the carts that are out there. Let's look at, I'm going to look really quickly at the reference image on the page as to what's unlocked so I can give you my thoughts. Here's what's unlocked so far in carts. We've got trophies. We've got organic. We've got sauce. We've got Zoo 2. I'm going to exclude Zoo 2 because it's essentially Zoo Chefs, which are in the base game, and I think that's a cheat, although I love Zoo Chefs. Tofu. Oh, tofu. I can't even believe. First of all, why'd we let mushrooms in this game? Why'd we let tofu in this game? So thematically, I'm never going to. It's interesting. We've got ice. We've got flowers. We've got noodles or wontons. We've got gelato. We've got balloons. That's what we got. All right. Oh, man. I think so. Definitely some contenders for best mechanical cart. Because flowers is up there. Because I don't know if I did explain this in the game. I explained this in one of our streams, but flowers, you don't want to take flowers. Flowers are a distraction. You have to refrigerate them. They are points if you can get the most of them, but they are ultimately in your way when you're trying to shop for the best ingredients for the critic. But you have to take them. If you're the first to grab at a location with flowers, you must take the flowers. And so there's this great thing of like, I can't go there. And as I pointed this out, Alex pointed out that it completely shifts your entire play. And so flowers is my top mechanical cart that's been done. And I hope the designers will play with flowers in their next test. I believe we've talked about that. Thematically, now, I'm a theme guy. I love theme. And I have to say that I really do like, when we embrace the a la carte name for the expansion, we also sort of embrace this idea of what could be sold in a cart. So I'm not as much, I love organic ingredients. I think that's a really clever twist that they expire in one day. But that's a mechanical thing. I think what I'm excited about are things that feel like that belongs in a cart, like an ice cream cart or a balloon cart, because, it just imagines I could see that right in front of the store when selling it. So thematically, I think it's going to be gelato or balloons. We played with gelato in the 2-player game. It creates an 8th course, but again, that's a mechanical thing. I love, of course, ice cream. I think that's fun. What scoop do you want to get? But balloons, since we've never talked about balloons, let's give it to balloons. There's 3 different types of balloons, and you get one for free when you get an item. I'm talking about mechanics again. I guess I'm tying these things together because the game has tied them so well. So you get a balloon for free when you go visit the cart with balloons. And it's a set collection. You're just going for a red, a yellow, and a blue. And as many sets as you can wins the star. You also get a star for most balloons. So even if you've missed the even if you miss the goal, you can still kind of try and take the goal for most balloons. It's funny because we're getting a. Do you know that Big Blue Peter's a thing in the OK? That's funny. Beatrice says we should get a hot dog cart. I don't know if the designers thought of a hot dog cart. That's a really good thematic cart, by the way. It's hot dogs. We have a lot of fun carts coming, though. Like I said, the social goals are actually trying to unlock a coffee cart, which is another one that I think is a perfect thematic theme for carts. And I really do like the coffee mechanism as well. So I hope we can get those pictures of coffees out there with the words Critter Kitchen written on them. I might go to my local Starbucks later today and do one for cause and order up a Critter Kitchen iced mocha. What's for lunch today? You know, here in game production world, lunch is a luxury. I don't know how that happens, but when you're running a Kickstarter, it's even worse. So I don't even know what's for lunch, but it is lunchtime, and I should probably end it so we could all. Some of us are in my time zone and can go get lunch, and others have generously spent their evening watching. We appreciate all your time. If you're catching this later, of course, I want to tell you that you can put any question on the YouTube and ask us a question for another stream. This stream has been mostly about Deluxification. Next time, we're going to talk about different modes of play in Critter Kitchen. It will be our last Friday while the Kickstarter is still live. So next Friday, I'm going to do this again. And now we've gotten everybody on to hot dogs and corn dogs, which I'm fine with. I'm from Chicago, so to me, a hot dog is a Chicago dog with you got to put relish and mustard and peppers, tomato in there, onions, no ketchup. You got to have that kind of a hot dog going on. That's why Chicago dogs are great, and a pickle, a giant pickle, right on the top there. Cozy War Games. I'm away this weekend, so my partner is having hot dogs all weekend. There we go, everybody. And we've got holiday drinks out at Starbucks, so everybody knows what to do. You could ask for Critter Kitchen, or you could ask for just any critter on there, or you could ask for a cappuccino with the foam done in a critter shape. Take a picture of that, post it on the internet, and say the absolute best critter game that is possibly going to exist is funding right now. And you absolutely, 100%, do not want to miss it. And the deluxe edition is something you've never seen before, and it's going to be epic. No ketchup, sacrilege. No, absolutely, it's the other way around. Ketchup. What are we doing with the ketchup? But that's a topic for an entire other video, everybody. I've had a fun time chatting all your ears off. I hope that you have had fun watching this. I hope that you enjoy all of the content we're making for this game. It's for you. Honestly, we are making this game first for us. Actually, first we're making it for the designers, then we're making it for us. Now we're making it for you, and we're having a fun time. Take care, everybody. Have a good time. Cheers. Game on this weekend. All right. Cheers. All right.